We're joined by one of the group's leaders, Niehaus. Mr. Niehaus, thank you very much for your time. What's the name of this group, this new formation?
Well, let me first of all say that the statement that the Secretary-General of the ANC, Comrade Ace Magashule, made yesterday is very welcome. And it is quite refreshing compared to previous positions that had been held, that it is now clear that the ANC is not against any of its members and supporters supporting President Jacob Zuma.
Mr. Niehaus.
And this group that you've asked me about is called the Radical Economic Transformation Support Group for President Jacob Zuma.
And is this something that is endorsed by the party, which you are a member of? That's the ANC.
Well, I think you've just heard that the party has no objection to support for President Jacob Zuma. I don't think there's any requirement from the party to officially take a decision at its National Executive Committee that it supports this particular group.
Okay.
But overall, you've heard that the ANC says it is acceptable, and in fact it will not prevent any member of the ANC or supporter from expressing that support for President Jacob Zuma. And
let's move on to this question then. Let's move on to this question. How does the defense of a corruption-accused leader translate to saving the soul of the ANC? How does that translate to an effort to save the soul of the ANC?
Well, you see, you must go back into the history of what happened in the last 2.5 decades with President Jacob Zuma, and the manner in which the allegations against him had been used, especially by the NPA, together with some other politicians, in order to try and vilify President Jacob Zuma, in order also to attack the issues that he stands for. President Jacob Zuma has been very clear about his support. In fact, he is considered in many ways, can I just finish that sentence, as the father of radical economic transformation. And at the heart of what the ANC is that it is a pro-poor party, and that the resolutions that were taken at the 54th National Conference of the ANC were pro-radical economic transformation resolutions.
You're still not answering my question with respect, sir. The defense of former President Jacob Zuma, who's accused of corruption in court, how does that become an effort to defend the soul of the ANC?
If that allegation of corruption is used in a manner that is to undermine the basic essence of what the African National Congress stands for, and if that allegation of corruption is used and abused in the way that we had seen in the last 25 years, then you do deal with an attack at the heart and the essence of the ANC. That's why the supporters of President Jacob Zuma says, we are the ANC, we are Msholozi, and Msholozi is us.
Who is vilifying the former president, Mr. Niehaus, in your view, and what do they stand to gain?
Can I start with Mr. Bulelani Nguka? 20 years ago, a secret press conference claiming that there's prima facie evidence against President Zuma, but it is not. Wait, can I conclude my question?
We're talking about what he faces now.
Now, every day you can read in the newspapers the attacks and vilification of President Zuma. And on Tuesday last week, in court, Judge Pillay decided to issue a warrant of arrest against President Zuma, which was entirely unnecessary. You heard what the Secretary-General of the ANC said.
The officer of the court is merely doing what they are supposed to do.
That warrant of arrest is being used now in the media to vilify President Zuma, to call him a fugitive of justice, and to ridicule him as a former statesman. Unacceptable. And if you ask me what the attacks are, they have given you.
Have you filed a complaint with the Judicial Service Commission against the judge? Because you're clearly blaming this judge for some kind of agenda.
Well, we may very well do so.
You haven't done it yet?
We haven't done it yet because that happened a week ago. We are now constituting ourselves into various organizations. You will see the press conference that will take place at 12 o'clock today. I'm not going to mention to you here at this moment who the various organizations are that are going to participate in that press conference. That will be revealed at the press conference.
Mr. Niehaus, final question to you, and very briefly, please. You're calling on members of the public to also come on board here. Why should they believe in this cause?
They should believe in the cause of justice. They should believe in the cause of a situation where no person should be deemed to be guilty except if that person is found guilty by a court of law. President Zuma has not been found guilty by a court of law. The members of the public must support our constitution, and a fundamental constitutional principle is that you are deemed to be innocent until proven guilty by a court of law, not by kangaroo courts and not by wild allegations in the media.
Carl Niehaus, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representing a group that is in support of the former president. On to this now.